oriented towards astronomy, what do you think are the reasons for us to be discussing rocket science today? Can anyone tell me what you imagine the speed of a rocket might be, like when it is injecting a satellite into orbit? Even if one thing fails, one small component fails, it's a disaster. You might know about Kalpana Chawla's. Why do we even go to space? That's the fundamental question. Why don't we use airplanes to put a satellite into orbit? We will just try and see what are the various parts of a rocket. Then building a satellite, this is just a very small portion. And then finally we come to the launching of a rocket. My name is Ankita Hudedgadi. I'm a former scientist engineer from ISRO. I used to work at the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Trivandrum. Briefly running through the parts of a satellite. The moment you have a satellite, of course, you need a power source. You can't take batteries. Only batteries you can't take because soon it will run out of energy. So you need to put in solar panels for the satellite. You need antenna in order to communicate with the Earth. You need different payloads. If you have gone, for example, to do Earth observation and take images of the Earth, you need a camera on board, right? So you need payloads. Then you have all other avionics components, which are basically linking all of these together, are able to send signals back to Earth. Payload component again depends on what purpose we are using it for. Earth observation, communication, GPS, etc. Coming to launching a rocket, there are some factors that need to be considered. Has to be launched from the satellite has to be inserted in the right location, with the right velocity, in the right direction, and at the right time. These two things together are called the launch window. Right direction and right time are called the launch window. Other considerations are the location of a launch pad. Weather conditions. Often you would have heard that rocket launches get cancelled because of bad weather, right? So if the weather is not ideal, then we really can't launch it, because even though all weather phenomenon takes place in the troposphere, we still have to pass the troposphere, right? We still have to cross the first 12 to 18 kilometers in order to get into space. So if the weather is bad, often launches don't take place. Population near launch pad is another thing that we need to be concerned about. We can't really fly over highly populated cities. Imagine in the event of a disaster, a rocket is basically a huge flying bomb, right? Rockets are basically the same things that missiles are, except rockets are intended to go to outer space. Missiles are intended to, destroy something, either in the air or on land or underwater. Impact zone for spent rocket stages. This is what I mentioned earlier. If anything is getting discarded from the rocket, we need to make sure that it impacts in the ocean. It does not impact on populated areas. That is something we need to consider. Then proximity of the launch pad to the equator is another factor. I'll come to why that is a factor. Okay, this is a very, I don't think it's translating well on a projector, but this is the Satish Dhawan Space Center. These are all the spaceports of the world. That is, these are locations where launch pads are located around the world. We have the Satish Dhawan Space Center, which is located in Satish Dhawan Space Center. Don't look at this. Perfect. It is located in Sriharikota. Sriharikota is located in Andhra Pradesh. Sriharikota is in Andhra Pradesh, and our Satish Dhawan Space Center, which is ISRO's launch pad, is located on the east coast of India, coast of Andhra Pradesh. Now, can we have a launch pad in Goa? If all of us come together, write a letter to Department of Space, let's have a launch pad in Goa, do you think that would be possible? No. Why not? Yes? Sriharikota is also on the coast. Sriharikota, in fact, is a beach. We are launching from a beach. Any other reason? Okay, I'll come to that. Yeah. Okay, that is not the exact reason, but okay, you're close. Goa is smaller, perfect. Yeah, you can't have, in a small state like Goa, okay, you might not have enough space to build a launch pad.
The population is right on the coast till the boundary. So, and we don't have much clear space. Like, you can say Goa is unpopulated, but the clear space is just like clear space.
Okay, fine. Lack of space is one reason. Okay, then
And the launch should be from a particular distance from the equator to get a proper location.
that is very close to one of the reasons. So the main reason that you can think of, which direction does the earth rotate? Sun rises in the east. So we move from west to east, right? We are rotating from west to east. Near the equator, if you're standing on the equator and not doing anything, you're just rotating with the earth, right? You're rotating from west to east with the earth. The speed at which you're rotating with the earth is roughly 1600 kilometers per hour. Even if you're not doing anything, if somebody complains, why are you being lazy, you're not doing anything, you can just say, I'm rotating with the earth at such a high speed. You're still doing something, aren't you? At the equator, you're rotating at 1600 kilometers per hour. As you go higher, you see the circumference of the earth is the widest, is the greatest at the equator. Then the circumference, as you take, these, go along the latitudes, it will decrease. So the distance you need to cover in the same amount of time. Every part, like it's like if something which is at the equator, say like Ecuador, which is a country here, is completing one whole circle in 24 hours, something like Alaska is also completing the circle in 24 hours. But the circle that it is completing is much smaller. It has a much shorter circumference than the circle that a country like Ecuador is completing. How is this possible? Both of them have the same rotational speed, like the angular velocity is the same. All of them, all the locations on Earth are completing that whole rotation, whole 360 degrees in just 24 hours. But the distance they are covering on the surface is much greater at the equator than it is at higher latitudes. Closer you are to the equator, you will get a natural boost because of the rotation of the earth. Exactly. Closer the launch pad to the equator, you are getting a natural boost because of the velocity which is already there. Now, will you get this boost even if you launch in any direction? In which direction will the boost be the greatest? West to east, because Earth is traveling from in a west to east direction. This boost will add to your rocket's velocity when you launched in an eastward direction. Correct? Now we have established roughly that rockets have to be launched in an eastward direction in order to minimize the energy you're spending. If you're launching from Goa, if you're launching a rocket eastward, how is the path of the rocket? It is going over land. It is going over land, and this is very dangerous because if our initial stages separate and they fall onto land, you're destroying so many towns, so many villages, so many cities. If forget like the spent stage, if a malfunction happens on a rocket and something happens, it's a whole city that is obliterated. But it's a giant bomb. You know the weight of the rocket? All of it is propellant, all of that is fuel. At such a high velocity, if something comes and hits, it is basically a bomb, right? Bombs basically are very small. Sorry? Missile, something like a missile, like a giant missile. Rockets are basically giant missiles. So that's why it's preferable that launch pads are closer to the equator. And you will notice that a lot of the launch pads, wherever possible, are always located on the east coast because nobody wants to fly over their own country's landmass. Right. This is the ground trace of a eastward launched rocket. You have SHAR. SHAR is basically a Satish Dhawan launch center. The path of the rocket on the earth will trace out to be something like this. We are passing over many countries, but none of the paths that are separating are falling over these countries. The ground trace is so designed that any path that is separating falls into the ocean always. Why these points are important is because these are tracking stations. These are different countries like Brunei. You have a place called Biak. You have ISRO tracking stations in all of these places. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are aware. About a month or two ago, our Prime Minister visited Fiji, a small island country of Fiji, which is located somewhere in this area. And we signed something for space cooperation. We signed some deal for space cooperation. That is because these island countries become very important for us for tracking. You know, the Pacific Ocean is so vast. If we do not have a tracking station on land, we will need a tracking station somewhere in water. This is something that happened. You must have watched the movie Mangalyaan. In Mangalyaan, they actually showed that since there were no countries, there were no islands in between that we could use for tracking, we had to station ships. We had to station naval ships in the ocean till the mission was completed. These are the tracking stations. Now, what happens if there's a malfunction during flight? For example, the rocket takes off, suddenly it turns around, starts coming back towards Sriharikota, starts coming towards Chennai. What happens then? What do we do?
It will obviously blast for you. What else will happen?
No, in air. Before it hits land, you need to make sure that nothing happens, right? It has to blast in air. It should not come and hit land and blast. Mission abort. What happens in mission abort?
Manifesting gravity.
Right. There's a destruct button for this kind of a thing. We really do not have any control over the rocket once the rocket takes off. You need to realize that the rocket is moving at very high speeds. Even if we are sending some kind of command from here in order to steer it, we won't have that much time. It may so happen that within the time that you're trying to steer it and prescribe any corrective measures, it will come and hit land. So the only communication that is present after liftoff between a rocket and the ground stations here is the destruct button, the destruct command. In fact, like there's something called the range officer. The range officer sits in a room by themselves. They are constantly looking at the screens, and if they see that the rocket path is deviating, they press the destruct command. This job is a very stressful job because there have been occasions where such a destruct command has had to be used, and the range officer who was sitting at the desk that day underwent a lot of interrogation after it as to what was your mental state when you pressed it, why did you press it, what evidence did you see for pressing it. Because if any irresponsible person is sitting there, it is not only a loss of thousands and thousands of crores, it is also a loss of national pride. It could also be a way to sabotage a country's space program. So this is a very responsible, highly stressful position that very few individuals are given the responsibility of in an organization, and they are sitting in a room to monitor this.
The destruct button is there. See, is the destruct button in the tracker on the ground or is it on the rocket?
No, the destruct button is on ground. The moment you press the destruct button here, your antennas which are on ground will send signals to your rocket.
Then how do the people inside the rocket get it?
People are not inside. These rockets, we are not talking about people inside the rocket. When people are actually there inside the rocket, there is some other system called crew escape system. You saw it over the module, there's a crew escape system. That is an automatic system. Immediately after a malfunction, that will fire and take the astronauts out.
The crew escape systems only work for when it is then how will they
No, crew escape systems work both. There are two kinds of motors on this crew escape system. You have something that is used for low altitudes, and you have another set of engines which are used for high altitudes.
if they are in like lower orbit then also they can come back safely down?
They won't be in orbit. Okay, they will not be in orbit. It won't be that high. But any time that the rocket is still attached to the crew escape system, the crew module is essentially a payload, right? It is something that you're trying to transport. It will not be in orbit. It will be on its way. And if any malfunction happens, that is where the crew escape system plays a role. Any other questions? Fine. So flight sequence, again, we have discussed all this before. Liftoff happens, then you have separation. This is for a PSLV rocket. This is the flight sequence. You have the strap-ons that separate. Then you have the PS1, that is the first stage separation, and so on. And finally, you have the separation of the rocket. Separation of the satellite for insertion into orbit. This is the payload which is accommodated inside the payload fairing. This is the satellite which is placed on a small deck. This is the tank. And this is the protective heat shield which is there around it. So these are graphs that you might have noticed on the screen when you're watching some ISRO launch, right? You might already know what this means. I will just give you a brief explanation. This is basically the time versus relative velocity graph. What this is saying is at about 250 seconds, this is the time, the speed of the rocket is around 1.8 kilometers per second. To contrast that, at around 750 seconds, the speed of the rocket has to be around 6 kilometers per second. Towards the end, where satellite separation is happening, the speed of the rocket has to be roughly about 8 kilometers per second. That is what this graph is basically indicating. So during a launch, often there will be an expected plot, and you will see this green plot which is moving over this. It is basically an indication that everything is going according to plan. You will see that the moment the heat shield separates, all of them who are sitting in the room over there will clap. The moment the next stage separate, again a round of applause goes around. And finally, when the satellite separates, that's considered a successful mission. This is again the ground trace. Earlier we had seen a ground trace for an eastward launch, but some satellites like polar satellites, you cannot actually launch them in an eastward direction. You have to launch them downwards. This is for a polar orbit. This is a very short video of rocket assembly and movement. There's one more video after this, and with that we come to an end of the session. Just see this. The building that you saw everything being assembled in, that's called the vehicle assembly building. This is the launch pad. The rocket is assembled somewhere else and it is brought to the launch pad. This is a short video of a launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Plus 5 seconds.
T3 tracking.
T1 tracking. Stop, normal.
भव्य उत्थापन LVM-3 OneWeb India 1 मिशन का
Liftoff at the enchantingly beautiful sight of the twin S-200 boosters burning, saluted against the night sky.
मध्य रात्रि को आकाश को रोशन करता हुआ S-200 boosters
Performance normal.
यहाँ हम इसके कंपन महसूस कर रहे हैं.
Searing the night sky, the LVM-3 N2 mission moves forward. 25 meters long S-200 boosters, each carrying 205 tons of STPV-based propellant.
Plus 1 minute.
Action time 126.6 seconds. They develop a peak thrust of 5,952 kilonewtons in vacuum.
प्रथम चरण का निष्पादन पूरी तरह सामान्य.
First stage performance normal.
इसका प्रज्वलन काल करीब 130 सेकंड का होगा.
This is the same plot that we saw earlier.
S-200 के प्रज्वलन काल समाप्त होने से पहले ही L110 जो कि तरल नवदक पर आधारित चरण है, द्वितीय चरण का प्रज्वलन शुरू कर दिया जाएगा.
L110 stage ignited.
Now we have a confirmation about the ignition of the core L110 stage.
और S200 स्टेज के बूस्टर्स पृथक कर दिए गए हैं।
The twin S200 boosters have been separated from the ongoing launch vehicle, L110 core stage currently thrusting.
L110 stage performance normal.
This is powered by the Earth Storable Propellants, UH-25 as fuel and N2O4 as oxidizer. The twin Vikas engine powered L110 stage has a nominal burn duration of 200 seconds.
Payload fairing separated.
ऊष्मा कवच को पृथक कर दिया गया है।
Loop guidance initiated.
अभियान
Plus 3 minutes.
127 किलोमीटर की ऊंचाई प्राप्त कर चुका है तथा घने वातावरण से बाहर जा चुका है, इसलिए ऊष्मा कवच को पृथक कर दिया गया है और अब यान क्लोज लूप गाइडेंस के अंतर्गत है।
Having crossed the dense atmosphere, the payload fairings have been separated and the rocket is currently moving forward in closed loop guidance.
Okay, with that, we come to an end of the session. Thank you very much.
काय बरेलो बांगडो म्हाका मायन दिलेलो, कोण रे मेल्यान त्याचो दोळो फोडिल्लो. आयलो आयलो गो, कचरोवालो आयलो. आगो आगो बेगीन कर, तो कचरोवालो आयलो. तूं आनी कितें गो, मागीर म्हाज्या नांवान बोवाळ मारतले. यो यो बेगीन यो.
धरलो
कितें?
आणि तो म्हजेर बेजार जाता, म्हाका लज जाता. आणि आणि या वोल्या कचऱ्यान प्लास्टीक पत्ती घालप.
आगो पण ओली जाता मगो ती. पळय पळय हात लावन पळय.
शी 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 शी. केन्ना अक्कल येतली रे तुका? ही पळय, ही भाजयेची, ही नुस्त्याची आणि ही बाकीच्या सामानाची. पूण ना, तुका जाय ती प्लास्टिकूच. नागरिक म्हणून आमची कितें जबाबदारी आसा काय ना? एकटो सरकार कांयच करूंक शकना आणि कचऱ्याच्या बाबतीत तर नाच ना.
म्हणजे कितें करप तर आमी?
अरे कचरो कितलेशेच प्रकारचो असता. 7 ते 8 प्रकार. वखदांचो वेगळो कचरो, काचेचो वेगळो कचरो, इलेक्ट्रिकचो वेगळो कचरो. तरी सरकार दोनूच सांगता, वलो आणि सुको. आणि तरी तुझ्याकडे ते जायना. दारादारांनी कचरो व्हरपाक येऊन सुद्धा गटारांनी, रस्त्याच्या कुशीक कचऱ्याचे ढिगारेच मरे. आणि हो कचरो कोण करता? आमीच मरे. मागीर म्हाका सांग, हातून सरकार कितें करतलो?
सारकें तुजें, चुकता आमचेंच.
अरे सावंत सरकारान कचरो जाग्यार घालपाक कितलेशेच प्रकल्प उबे केल्यात. सालिगांव, कुणय, पिसुर्ल्या आणि हेर जाग्यार कितलेशेच नवे प्रकल्प नेटान चालू आसात. सरकार आपले काम आपले परीन पुराय जोर लावन करता. पूण गरज आसा आमी जबाबदार जावपाची. कितें?
नव्या तमाचे सेरतुतराचे हे आमचे सरकार. सावंताच्या खाला सपना जाता साकार. गोंयाचो फुल्लारे फुडार, खोशिया सारे गोंयकार.
आता ओल्यान ओलो आणि सुक्यान सुको.
गोंयान उरलो ना कचऱ्याचो धोको. आता भिवपाची
गरज ना.
दरेक गोंयकाराचो आधार डॉक्टर प्रमोद सावंताचें गोंय सरकार.